The amount of information that we have amassed for you guys is massive for disclosure coming out. And so we're going to almost have to take a whole little series of, what was the beginnings here that, you will see in the hieroglyphics and stuff, but why we're doing this, kind of like a little different than Tellinger stuff, but also going into then why we had clan mothers. What tribe are you from? Where can we help you? Everything's in divine order, as you say. It's all like going to be the best exciting times for us. A lot of people are concerned about the pole shift and September the 23rd and the Shemta and the Jubilees and, a lot of forgiveness. And that's what it's about. And it's about a day of atoning, which if we've done what we're supposed to be, woo, we got the parties here. Let me tell you. I said, it's kind of like I was teasing Dr. Minervino, Tony. I said, oh, Anthony, I'm atoning that day. He's here. I'm planning the party. We create our own reality. When you learn how you can create this and co-create it, we're going to have the best time. So somewhere on the 23rd, we want to make sure that we have all our friends with us and that our Skype lines are open. So somewhere we'll have you. You can see the backyard here at Michael's. So we'll be having a garden party. We're all the gardeners. And so, I've been teaching the women here, Miles. We can't, because of these situations in the chemtrails. That's like people taking pharmaceuticals. When I come into people's homes and they're using genetically modified foods, I find most people can't read a label. It's terrible. Adults can't read labels. I have more faith in the children right now than I do in some adults and humans.
Yeah, exactly. The children know.
The children know, and frequency-wise. But I come in, and it's not even superfoods. And when David Wolf talks about superfoods, we're talking about deep-rooted roots that go down like Avatar. It's the neural network. It picks up all the extra nutrients. So we're vibrating and wild. We're just excited. And so we live that way. Our cells are that way. We don't have any blocks and diseases for the most part. When people then drop down into that, it's the same thing, like 4 classes of people, 4 classes of utility chicken, 4 classes of women, their DNA. That's how they're moved as stock on the stock market. Same thing. IMF, the Cynthia Brewer, the barcodes, the bear codes. We know all that. And so what happens is that if you've got all that food in you and you're genetically modified and going to the stores and you're using number 4 or number 7 or conventional, well, then you're deemed property of them. Kind of like Monsanto when they were all doing those, who was what. And so we need to be cleaning and detoxifying and purifying ourselves out. And so this is why it comes back to findaspring.com, get some spring water, get the essential oils. That's the highest form of, food. I have all my people, because they're all acidic. So what I do is I start teaching people, litmus paper. All my clients get litmus paper. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it's a little piece of tape that you get out at the health store, right? And you put it on your saliva and tongue first thing in the morning and find out how you rate. And that is actually where you are in the chakras, by the way, almost. So very, very acid up here. And we're supposed to be almost at indigo, kind of getting into the gamma. Because we're not 7.53 or 8.3 anymore. We all know what's just shifted with CERN. And so I have
we can talk about CERN. Simon Parkes has been doing some stuff on that.
I love some of Simon stuff. And you know what? That's why I'm not concerned, because I have the gift of discernment. And you're able to use this and transmute this. But for most people, they don't have this they don't know how to play with alchemy or fire walk or be with the people I've been with alchemists. I know what it's like to see the monatomic thing and be with the Don Carters and, kind of like the David Hudsons, David Wolfs of the place. But the grounds are all bound up with the chemtrails. So it doesn't matter even if you plant heritage heirloom or even organic's a lower classification. Organic is like a dirty world, but then so is genetically modified and inhabitant stuff here too. It's frankenfoods, right? Petricide, the medical pharmaceutical complex, right? So what we want to do is get people going back, and I have everyone to Bulk Barn here, at least getting, raw vegan food and raw cacao shakes, NutriBullet style. But just to shift this pH alone, just to be right on, all you need is aluminum-free baking soda, 1 teaspoon, glass of water, and a teaspoon of molasses or, maple syrup, organic or raw agave or something. And that's all you need a couple times a day. And that'll shift that pH. So this will dissolve your old thought process being in the, constellation of Cancer and bring you around to the 13th again. I don't know, round full circle again. But that dissolves actually
So
tumors.
is that sending you alkaline?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes us alkaline, but it also is a temporary measure. So do the monotonics through the salts, and so do the essential oils help do that. So I have everyone on capsules of doing that. And I mean, some of us have gourmet salts. Mine's from Hawaii. This is Hawaiian salt. And so this actually is from the volcanic ash, kind of like bentonite clay or zeolite, but that's like activated charcoal. That's what we used as nurses to have people bind if they had a chemical overdose. And chemtrails are a drug overdose, so is prescriptions.
So that will suck the stuff up. But,
Yeah.
but it won't suck the good minerals up, is that right? Or what?
Absolutely, it just accentuates because there's minerals already in here. So what it does is it just neutralizes everything. So do essential oils. They neutralize the radiation and they neutralize the chemicalization, that shouldn't be in us that have accumulated the issues in the tissue. So that's where we come in with our scanners. We scan everything right through you.
Now, what sort of scanning, what sort of frequencies, how can people do that, or can they?
We've got the scale biofeedback. So I actually do mine as a remote viewer. So I do people like, for example, right now, I could be tapped into you over there. And I am watching everything going on real time. So I can look at your Kirlian photography, your blood work.
I've got my Royal Rife machine. I go on that sometimes.
I love those. Yeah, I got the frequencies, so we can plug them in, but we actually have a data of about 11,000 things. So if it's even chemtrail, we can neutralize it. If you've taken too much coffee or something, then we start, educating people. And of course, everything comes down to the basis. And so as a colon hydrotherapist, you'll love it. The deep underground military base is really your colon. And so what we want to do is flood the entire planet in the Gaia Earth with an enema. So we really want to just give it a big colon hydrotherapy enema irrigation, which is kind of what we plan to do. But a lot of people, it's that simple. It doesn't matter when you got 33 feet, all the 33 points or nodes are in the colon that uptake. So if I want to look youthful and I don't want to have wrinkles, it is the hydration and the salts and the grounding. Thank you. Off the colon hydrotherapy. So if people want to really get healthy, they'll be into the colonic machines. The women and the men don't want to be aging, then they're going to be in for colon hydrotherapy or enas. But this is just a pH chart, just to show you here. This is what most people don't know is all of the pH. Yeah. And so that's what we're doing, Miles, is like I said, we just use the tape here.
So you want to head past 8 to a 9, is that right?
Yeah, a lot of people are using the foods that are in the 9 or 10s, in there, because what you want to do is because the people have done so much damage, all the bottled water, the reverse osmosis, all those things are down in here. All the city waters, everything else, all your black sentient goo and everything through the waters is all down in here. It brings you down.
And so the bottled water's got benzene and stuff in it. A lot of people into this bottled water.
Yeah, and that's why it's embedding into the tissues, into your root chakra. It's dropping you into the basis. And so we really want to get people back here to a state of, being excited.
So really, tap water is the better thing, really, for starting, rather than use bottled waters.
I'm actually a big one of Find a Springs. Almost anywhere, if you go to findaspring.com, bless David Wolf's soul and Daniel Vitalis, they set up something called findaspring.com. Most people have reported in where there's a spring within an hour of you. So I really start with that. The city waters are played with, and even people that use different filtration systems, could be from Brita to $5,000 ionization machines. You'll never remove the imprint properly, never. There are pictures and stuff.
This is something which the so-called elite or the very rich think that the water can get. It can happen to everybody else, but their machine will save it. But it doesn't work out that way, does it?
No, it doesn't. And you'll never, be able to actually mimic the original. That's the mother's milk. So if you look here at what we call Battle Creek.
Yeah. Sorry, you're talking about the triple spiral energetic water.
Yeah.
From the spring.
Yeah. Yeah. Just like Victor Schauberger's. Yeah. When you talk about the vortexing and you start looking at water technology, what it does is it's a vortex water. It has energy or life of its own. It vibrates. And so most of them, because they're cooled and because they've got the, original minerals, they're coming up through levitation. So anyone that really wants to learn David Wolf did a brilliant thing called Spring Waters Rocky Mountains. Get educated, because this is where it's at. The water is the divine feminine. And those of us that do, let's say, urine therapy, for example, when you have a child, I know, we'll bring it all. You'll really get to know me today. Urine therapy is an old...
Good for your hair, yeah.
Wonderful. But what it does, urine therapy, that if you think about a baby in the cosmic womb, what we call the amniotic fluid, that is basically urine. Okay? And it's salt water cosmically. It's like the ocean, the primordial maritime law in there is where they are, or the Marian bloodlines that we have too. What happens is that urine therapy is actually a byproduct of the blood, almost like plasma. What it does is it's part of your blood lineage, and it extracts through everything else, through the organs, let's say through the kidneys and stuff, and different filtration systems we have, like liver, whatever. But by the time it becomes urine, it is actually all the remedies that you require. So it's a vaccine replacement, all sorts of things. And most of your high-tech, centers, and a lot of people are familiar with Hippocrates, Optimal Health out here, different things where I patterned my center off of in Saskatoon. Now I'm a mobile polar bus center. I have everything in here. But what happens is that they actually feed you back, a lot of times you may be unaware, but your own urine mixed in with your, carrot juice for the morning. And the urine is actually phenomenal. It's the fecal matter, which is like an old computer. It's old physical, mental, emotional. It's stuff that your system doesn't use anymore or process. When it's stuck in there, and you could have that steak from or Chef Boyardee or whatever it was from, or a piece of gum from how many years ago. I've seen a lot of things come out in my colon hydrotherapy machines because they're professional machines that we run for an hour. And like one little enema bag, which is great. I have all my clients on enema bags right now. Just even a cup or two. You'll never notice it's in you, but that's enough to change your acidity to your alkalinity, or depression to happiness, or disease to flow within days. So people can...
I'd simply take all my best coffee and use it for colon therapy.
Yeah, a lot of people do, but coffee actually, its original intent is actually green. It's not roasted and dark. And so as a raw foodist, what we do is we leave all our herbs in there for at least 24 hours with the spring water, and it will extract out different things. But people have used coffee because it puts you into such shock that basically there's a palmitate in there that starts actually the peristalsis, like the wave-like movement, to get everything out of your system because it's a toxin. They have come out with alkaline coffee. So I know like David Wolf now, they're getting alkaline coffee. But again, if you have something that's alkaline and you put it with acidic water, well, you've just canceled out what you're doing. So just by drinking coffee, it knocks out your immune system for probably about 3 days and drops you into that 55 hertz here. So just to get your mind free, or if we want to get to 432 hertz, oils are actually DNA repair because they're hertz, they're vibratory. So you can combine essential oils and get up into the mind for peace and calming and open that up at, let's say, 105 hertz. Or I might use rose oil at 320 hertz and take you out of here. But when you consider most people are in their homes being bombarded with satellites and EMF and smart meters and everything else, and the, wiring and all that at 60 hertz, most people are barely functional. And they can be mind controlled and dumbed down that way.
And of course in Europe it's 50 hertz, which drops the things lower.
Even lower, yeah. So this is a way with essential oils to vibrate you back up through the roof, so to speak, and open all those things up. So we do actually have code books Dr. Carolyn Mean has put together, and it's called Releasing Emotional Patterns with Essential Oils. And you can get that at lifesciencepublishers.com, or people can look it up on Amazon. And all my books are available.
Can you send me all those links or get the spelling right?
Not that I spell, but I'll print it and type it out for you if that's okay. Sure. But yeah, those links, that's why I mentioned this, because over the years, I've got 30 years of medical experience, and my clinic was like, the free all. People could come in and just heal. We had all this sort of thing. I had Len Horowitz's stuff. I know what the problems are. We need to be solution oriented. So I'm teaching the women indoor gardening through tower gardening, indoor verticals, or sprouting, because we can do this very easily. And I do this on the road. I've got a little bullet and a Vitamix, and I brought my dehydrator, and there's no excuse not to be doing this. I compost on the road. I have zero garbage. And so even the clothing I'm wearing, this is all hemp clothing. This is all hemp stuff. When I'm covered here with my headscarf, it's a natural fabric, either cotton, bamboo, or hemp or something. And I really prefer cannabis
And
as opposed
that's
to like,
pre-linen, isn't it? Linen is a similar
yeah.
thing, is it?
This is actually cannabis clothing. I'm going to go back to the original words, but as people think hemp, it's actually cannabis clothing. So this is where we have the advantage of having that. And so this protects against the radiation. So all these,
What property of that cloth or the plant actually gives you that protection?
a lot of the deep root, because they're pulling up the ormus, they're creating their own electrical field, and they're such a high alkalinity plant. That's why you see a lot of people when they want to do Phoenix tears. And I've had lots of clients, like rather than getting rid of the mercury fillings or the vaccines these children have had, they all want to, put the cannabis. It's a really high alkalization, like taking a lot of wheatgrass too. So that's why a lot of people are having great results with it, whether they say with cancer or with epilepsy or children with attention deficit and brain tumors and stuff. But quite frankly, if we could get them on some more higher vibratory stuff, they'd fix even better and deal with the causes. So it's the properties again in here of really the alkalization, the mineralization. It's vibratory. So if you have synthetics, it's like polyester inside goes inside. Like I said, a lot of people, they need to clean out what's in their kitchens, because that's what's doing it. It's what we put through the pearly gates here. And so when I do iridology, or I'm looking into your beautiful eyes today, Miles, we're doing face readings, right? So I was taught Shote and stuff like that. So like what you would know is iridology, and we can read the nose and the teeth and all the teeth meridians and how your organs are doing just by the way you smile.
God help us.
Yeah, and that sort of thing. So there's all this reflexology, or we call VitaFlex, about 9,000 points. So my machines back here actually scan. So it's kind of fun. I can make my own remedies, and I thought it was actually kind of fun because maybe I could just do this for a second. Guess we'll do it more than a sec. Sorry about that. Be in technology some days. No, what I was just looking at here, I was just going to actually move my computer around just to show you your aura. And I will move this so I don't disrupt that again. Because a lot of people have never seen that. And it is just when I want to know what Miles looks like. May I share it with the rest of the...
Yes, you can share it.
Okay.
God help them.
Okay. There's a curly photography scan of you.
Wow.
So I'm actually watching your gas visualization discharge right now. And so Miles is beautiful, isn't he? And so that's how I can remote.
So my gas visualization discharge.
Absolutely. And so, if I wanted to go through and started, look at different people, and we want to start looking at their acupuncture meridians and stuff, right? I can actually start looking at your acupuncture meridians from here too. Wow. I know. It's so cool. And so a lot of people...
That's one way of screen sharing on Skype, that's for sure.
It is. And actually, I usually have a little eyeball thing, but I'm making do with Michael's thing today. Same thing too, it might be a sacred geometry, and I know you have a love for crop circles. We used to have so many crop circles just north of Saskatoon. We used to go out there with Gail and Ray, and
they're having a right in crop circle country here.
I know, it's lovely. It's so great. Here's like a crop circle photography, and Kirlian photography, or sacred geometry that's for you specifically right now.
Wow.
Okay, so
in fact, Simon Miles, he gave a tremendous very detailed look into the crop circle geometry, knowing that a lot of them are man-made. It's not how they're made, it's the fact they are made.
Exactly.
It's very important.
It's absolutely phenomenal. So you can actually go into anyone here, and we can start going, like right now you're fixing, you got to remember what you're doing is you're self-healing right now. So these are different colors or chakras that will go in, and you'll start showing me what you're doing, and it'll go through different organs that you're healing. So what you are is you're actually self-reading, self-correcting, self-sustainable, and you are your own doctor. So right now, this is stuff that you're actually showing that needs to be corrected, that you're correcting right now. And I, as a medical or health practitioner, there's about 40,000 of us worldwide, or I should say planetary, not worldwide, but it tells me where the blocks are, and so we can educate people as to where they're missing things.
Oh, what's the difference between worldwide and planetary?
I always think as world as in the war. There are some different things that were just coming up in there. So it shows me an inflammatory process. You're actually one of us. You'd be a great practitioner. There's the SKIO thing. That's how we kind of remote view people, and so this is the technology that we're able to use, and that's what the SKIO device looks like. And so that's basically goes up to the satellite system. So I'm self-contained, self-empowered, and don't require any of the Illuminati hospitals or the hospitality of the hospitaliers or the knights or whatever. And there you go. So you're fixing your own thing. So right now I can assist the clients. They lie down and I can actually pick up, detect what it is there. If there's any. Yeah, isn't it juicy? I was actually one of the original teachers out here. So people could get a hold of Ken Wilkinson at the Quantum Alliance or Gage Tarrant there. Like I said, Dr. Paul Duran's in Hawaii, and right now what we're doing is we're setting up universities. So we have universities of this caliber. So it is there for people to go online. So we have people like Nassim Harriman. Those are our professors.
Yeah, Nassim, fantastic. What's he doing now recently?
I can tell you exactly where I missed him. He was in Calgary 2 days ago. He's en route between Calgary to Vancouver, and I think tonight, actually tonight, I think they're supposed to be in Calgary. So if you look up the Modern Knowledge Tour, courtesy of my favorite guys, which is Chris Resick and David Whiteheads, who's been a guest on my show. But yeah, I'd love to connect with some of this. It's an amazing process. So that's where he is actually, I think, tonight. They've been out camping in Banff. And the only thing that was really strange is that I was going to go, and it was so gorgeous here, and they had the biggest snowfall 3 hours away. They were in hail and snow, 6 inches of snow in Calgary. So we didn't go on Saturday. So
was that an arranged storm or what?
I would say it's all been arranged here. So I've got a lot of great friends too that are, inside. So we've got a lot of inside information, which I like to disseminate freely, because it's all about people having freedom of speech and stuff like that, and bringing things forth. This kind of information, if you look at the stuff that Patty and I've put together, has the potential to save millions of lives. And that's really what we're here for, is to do it all benevolently for everyone. So that's the way it should be. And,
fantastic.
People just, they don't get it. Like, I don't commerce, I don't intercourse into commerce. And it's like, it would be funny, but what's required? How much do you require? I've been out of a couple suitcases if I have to on the road. But when I came in, let's say to Calgary out of Silverton one day, just as an overnighter, because I'd been with David Sarita, marvelous man. I love hanging out with David and Crystal and Dan Nelson out there at Nelson.
Yeah, how's he doing?
He's doing awesome, actually. Actually, I did some interesting things with biofeedback. The next thing he said, he was up to the Palladium mothership, and next thing he was getting vortex formulas in free energy and Stargate stuff. So I gotta connect him and Dan Willis and Patty together yet, and Tony, Dr. Minervino. So Tony and I will be going, and we're gonna meet up with Larry Levan. He's in Silverton. Great helper of mine. He's been wonderful. That's what's got me through a lot of this. Is Larry's been really great helping out, backing out a lot of stuff too. And he runs the internet services at Red Mountain through Silverton. So he's been very, very supportive in that sense, that he's doing books and stuff that have to do with the Magdalene line and the DNA and all that sort of interesting stuff back to Shakespeare and Sir Francis Bacon.
Well, yeah.
Yes.
Simon Miles is I'm doing a bit of work on that level.